So today we're going to be using OpenAI's ChatGPT, and we're going to add it to a spreadsheet on Google Sheets. And I'm going to show you how you can use it to actually do some really cool things with it. And you can test this out. It's free. So we're going to be using 3 different tools today. So we're going to be using OpenAI, and you need to have an account with OpenAI. You can get an account. It's free. I'm already logged into mine here. We're going to also use a Google Sheet, just a regular Google Sheet. And we need some code from GitHub. So I'm going to show you how to get code from GitHub and how to use that. This specific code is designed to add a GPT fill to Google Sheets, so then you can do some cool magic with it. So let's get started. So how many of you have used ChatGPT so far? So it's AI, right, that can provide you with answers. So a lot of people usually ask me, like, what really is like a ChatGPT, and like, what's the big deal? It's a chat bot, and meaning it's AI that you can ask a question of and it gives you an answer. And so what we're going to do right now is we're going to create, we're going to add an extension to Google Sheets from OpenAI. So we're going to create an extension using OpenAI's Chat GPT. And then we're going to use some script from GitHub over here, and we're going to add it to Google Sheets. So you can follow along right now. If you have an OpenAI account, like I said, it's free. It takes like, I don't know, 5 minutes to actually get started. But what we're going to need from OpenAI is we're going to need our API key. To get your API key, if you have an OpenAI account, what you're going to do is you're going to click on your name at the top left. And then we're going to go to view API keys. And this should show you your API keys. I already have mine copied. I have a personal account. It's free. So there's no worry about like having to pay for it right now. But you're going to need this number or this secret right here. I have, like I said, I already have mine copied. I just created it today, so I tend to delete my API keys because I do demos like this usually, and I'm exposing my API key most of the time. But we need that key. I already have it. And then what we need to do is we're going to open a Google Sheet. So if you use Google, you can just go into Google Drive, and open up a clean spreadsheet. And then what we're going to do is from here, we're going to create an extension. So I'm going to go up here to the menu. And an extension is almost like a little app or a little script that we're going to create so we can do something within the Google Spreadsheet. I'm going to go to extensions, and I'm going to go to app scripts. And what this does, it opens up the script editor that is available in Google Sheets here. And we'll give it a second here. And so here's your script editor. So we want to make sure that we're in here under the code segment. We're not using the libraries or anything. This is the only thing you need to do here on Google Sheets, and we're going to add ChatGPT to this now. I'm going to go to GitHub, and the link is right here. Let me see if I can make this bigger for you guys. I'm going to put it in the sheet for right now and make it big so you can see it. So this is the link that we're using to get the code for the ChatGPT to add the extension here. We're going to go over here to Code.js, and we're adding ChatGPT to a Google Sheet so then we can do some fun stuff with it. So you'll see in this code here, as we read it, and I always tell everyone, like, read the code so you can understand like what's going on. And so this here is where we add our API key once we copy it into our Google Sheet. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm just going to grab all of this. Actually, I could just click copy here. Duh. All right, so I copied it. So I copied all the code here. As you can see, it's a long line. This isn't a huge code snippet. There's a lot of different language in here. But what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our Google Spreadsheet, and we're going to go to extensions. Let me make this a little bit smaller so I can get to extensions. I'm going to click that add-on script, which we already have it here open. And I'm just going to select all, and paste. Literally, that's all you're doing in this script. And then what I'm going to do up here, I'm going to give it a title, and I'm going to just call it ChatGPT. And I'm going to rename it. So we're giving our script a name. And then what I need to do is, as I said, we're going to look at this code. So the API key goes right here at the top, and I'll make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see because this is always small. So this is where the API key goes, and I have it copied to this notepad here, and I'm going to grab it. And don't worry, you guys can try to snag this, knock your socks off. That's not going to be working after this. So have fun. Okay, I'm going to make this smaller. Just going to save it. And then we're going to close this. And we're going to refresh our Google Sheet here. And we should get an extension in here. It may take it a minute, but we should get a GPT extension in here. So let's see if it showed up. Okay, it hasn't showed up yet. Let's check this out and see. I always love live coding because you never know what's going to happen here. Let's run it. Okay, let's review the permissions. Yes. It's okay. Let's do advanced. Let's continue it. I'm going to allow it. Still, and Margot's hearing people. Okay. So now let's, it's saved again. So let's go back. Oh, there it is now. So there's my GPT-3. Let me make this bigger. Okay. So now that oops, too big. So now we have this GPT-3 extension here. So I'm going to delete this code here. So now to use it, how do we use it? So those are all the steps you need to take to be able to add the extension to your Google Sheet. So what can we do from here? So let's do, basically what this does is you have to name your rows and your columns, and you need to enter information in the rows, and then what it does, it will auto-populate your columns. So let's do something here. Let's do movies. So let's do movies. Let's do ratings on IMDb, if I can spell. Let's do director, and let's do genre. Let me resize these. Okay, let's resize these. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna add some movie titles. Let's do White Noise, right? How about we do Glass Onion? Have you guys seen any of these movies? Glass Onion was really good. I haven't seen White Noise yet. I'm gonna see it now, today, not now. Let's do Get Out. Nope. All great movies. Let's do White Christmas. We add a few more movies. I don't know, 70s movies. Let's do Saturday Night Fever. Let's do American Pie. Let's do, oh, this is a good movie. Let's do Falling in Love. I know I'm aging myself here. Let's do Herbie. I used to love Herbie movies. Let's do one more. Let's do Snow White. That I can spell. I'm going to do a Spanish one. Let's do Amores Perros. Let's see if it'll do that. Let's challenge it a little bit. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I have my GPT-3 extension that I added. I created this extension using code from GitHub, this code right here. I added my API key. And now what I'm going to do here is we're going to call this GPT test movies. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just highlight all of this. And then I'm going to click on GPT-3 and fill with GPT-3. Oh, look at that. Hold on. It's running. We have success, guys. So we have added ChatGPT to a Google Spreadsheet, and it's pulling data based on the movies that I added here. So what it's giving us, it's giving us the ratings from IMDb. It is giving us the director, and it's going to give us the genre. So this is, I created a script, and that's so interesting. For White Noise, it says it's a movie. Nope is a genre of music. So we can see that there's some issues in here as far as like what it's returning, especially for like Nope and White Noise. Let's make this bigger. This is correct on my Amores Perros. It's a really good movie. It's a Spanish movie, so I'm glad that it was able to pull that information. I'm surprised that for Snow White it wasn't able to pull, or for her, because they're both Disney, but I guess the directors are different because we're asking for the directors to be pulled. But let's look at how much I spent, because now this has me intrigued. So let's go here and let's go into billing and let's see what we've used so far, if anything. Let's see. Okay, so right now my current usage is 17 cents for that first query because it was a small data set that I called. So what we did is we used OpenAI. We got the API key, which is from here. You get it from you go to Profile, View API. This is where you get your API key from. And then let me pop this back in here as a tab. Then we went to GitHub and we grabbed this code. I just copied it. And the API goes here, but you don't put it in this GitHub, please. Do not stick the API key in here and then save it, because your API key could get stuck in this person's GitHub and then they have access to your crap. So copy this code, and you just, the way you get to this again is from, it's called Spreadsheet Magic. This is the dude that created it. Spreadsheet Magic. You're gonna go to Code.js to get that code. You're gonna copy it from here, boop. You'll have your API key, and then in your Google data sheet and your Google Sheet, what you're gonna do is you are going to go to extensions, app scripts. You will paste the full script in here under Code.js. Sorry, right here, Code.js. And you're also gonna add your API key at the very top, and then you're gonna save it. And then I like to run it because I wanna make sure that it executes. And then in your Google Sheet, you'll refresh this and you should get this GPT-3 on your menu bar, and then you can use it. So let's do another spreadsheet, or let's do another tab. So let's see if we can get, like, let's do countries. Let's do capitals. Let's do the GDP and population for each country. So let's do this. Let's do USA. Let's do France. Let's do England. Let's do Germany. Let's do China. Let's do Singapore. I'm really quick with these. These I do know. Let's do Argentina. Let's do Puerto Rico. Let's do like a Virgin Island. Let's do St. Thomas. What else? Let's do Alaska. Okay. So now we have the countries, and we want it to give us all this information. So now I'm just gonna highlight all of this, make sure it's all highlighted. Click on my GPT extension that I added, and then fill with GPT. Oh, it's running. No more errors, guys. Let's see what it gives us. All right, the capitals are right so far. We're looking at the GDP for each country. You can see that China and the US are like close, and then the population. So there's different use cases for this, which I think is really interesting. So let's do this, countries, Over here we did music, sorry, movies. Let's do one more. Let's do music. Music. Do we want to do bands maybe? Let's do top. Let's do genre. Gross sales. Let's see if it pulls that. Billboard. Billboard hit. #1 hit or Billboard. Top hit. And let's do, what else should we do? Let's do origin. I don't know if it's going to pull anything around origins. Origin, okay. So let's do some bands. Let's do Van Halen. Let's do Cheap Tricks. And I may be calling out bands that you don't know. Twisted Sister. Let's do El Gran Combo. Let's do Plain White Tees. Let's see if it'll pull it that way. Let's do Kings of Leon. Let's do India. Mark Anthony. And I know they're not bands, they're artists, but we'll see. I can't talk and type either. Let's do, okay, let's just see if it's gonna pull some data on this. So basically what I'm gonna do is we're gonna highlight all of this again and make sure it's all highlighted. And we're gonna click on GPT fill. I don't know if it's gonna give us anything on origin, but let's see what it pulls. So basically it's pulling the genre. I don't know what it's gonna pull for Billboard top hit, just because it is a query. So what we're doing technically with our headers is we're writing queries, if that makes sense. So we're asking it to pull information. Did you guys know that the Gorillaz top hit is I Want You Back? That can't be right. I'm going to have to double check that. Michael Jackson's top hit was Thriller. BTS, I don't know BTS, so is DNA really their top hit? And so for India is a Puerto Rican singer, so it classified her as a country, so this is not correct. So we know that. Let's see, Kings Leon, Use Somebody, Plain White Tees, Hey There Delilah, yep. La Bomba for a Gran Combo. We're not going to take it, definitely Twisted Sisters. And Cheap Tricks, I Want You to Want Me, one of my favorite songs. The Killers. So who can tell me if The Killers, if this is one of their top songs? They're actually from Las Vegas. I'm in Las Vegas, guys. And what we're doing is we just added ChatGPT to a spreadsheet, and we fed it information and it fed us information back. Let's see how much we actually spent so far. Okay, so far we spent 50 cents on those small queries. So there's some use cases for this. So imagine that you need to pull a bunch of information about locations or universities or something that you may be researching, and you don't, like, all of the research that you have to do would take a ton of time. So I could tell you, like, I'm a PhD school dropout, guys, because I didn't want to write my dissertation because the research sucks and trying to get information, and I just didn't want to have my dissertation reviewed by a bunch of old white guys. I'm going to be honest. But I always say I'm going to go back and I'm going to finish, and I would definitely use this to pull data and to figure out, like, you know, how I can do my research really fast. Some of the limitations of this. So because we're using Google Sheets, right, and we're using ChatGPT in Google Sheets, One is that we saw limitations on, like, you need to have credits. So I ran out of my credits. I had to rush and add credits to my account, so I can show you how this works. It makes one API call per line, meaning it will go through and look at all the information, and it will call out to the internet for information, or wherever this information is stored. It's not really the internet. It pulls it from like a data set that has been pulled together. And then it does require some data prep, right? So being able to create some good queries here, so you can use ChatGPT so it knows, like, what are you asking for? So you can't just, we couldn't put like random things in here. Like if we're doing bands, we couldn't, I mean, we could, but we're not going to get good information back. It's like, we could ask it like, who's the band leader, right? Or it might know that. We might be able to ask like, what's their favorite, I don't know, snack? That might not come back right, because it may not have enough information on that. So when you're creating these queries, especially in any spreadsheet, right, you need to go through and you need to validate that. And like we said here, like this here, India is a salsa singer, and it brought her back as a country because it did not understand specifically what I was asking for there. So maybe I have to add the word "the" in front of her name. If we look at movies, it did a great job here. With the exception of not knowing who the director was for Herbie and Snow White. And it couldn't put a genre to like the movie Falling in Love, which I think that's considered a romance. Not sure or not. And then for countries, it did not know the GDP of St. Thomas. It may just be because St. Thomas is part of the U.S. and it might count it as part of the total GDP of the U.S. Sorry, the population it didn't know. It knew the GDP. It didn't know the population. So that might be a census thing. So this is just really interesting, like the type of information that you can get from this. And I don't know, I'm going to do, if you guys want to see more of these, be sure to follow me. Send me a message. Let me know what you want to learn as far as it goes to around like AI and this whole like ChatGPT, because everyone's saying like, oh, you can start a business with ChatGPT and you can do all these things, but they don't tell you how to do it, right? So let's figure out how to do it. So if there's something specific you want to learn how to do, let me know. Like, go ahead and leave a comment on one of my videos. Yeah, guys, this is it. So I taught you today how to add GPT-3, ChatGPT, to a Google spreadsheet. Yeah, I hope that you guys found this helpful and that you'll go and you'll play with this. OpenAI does give you some credits, and you should use those credits, but once it runs out, you do have to buy more credits. I got stuck with that. So, guys, thank you for joining me today. I'm going to sign off for right now, and I hope you guys have a great night.